What's up, everybody?
Yeah, another good evening.
It is.
From, right here in the studio in West Tennessee.
Yep. What are you drinking tonight?
Man,
Water?
there's some ice in there. I realized I had not had my celebratory Sweetens Cove
Oh, yeah.
since we won the national championship. And I bought that fifth, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And, I said I wasn't going to open it until we beat Alabama in football. We did that. I've sipped on it on special occasions, like when we would, anytime Tennessee pretty much would win a championship, SEC championship, whatever,
Yeah.
in basketball, baseball. And, so Sweetens Cove, a couple of weeks late for the baseball national championship.
Gotcha. Well, I got just some old Devil's Cut. Jim
Devil's
Beam.
Cut, Jim Beam. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yep. It's I like it. I'm not a huge Jim Beam guy, but Devil's Cut is good. It's actually pretty good. I mean, I got it over ice.
Oh yeah, it's a good sipper.
Yeah. Yep. Well, before we get in, first, guys, I can tell you we got a pretty wild one tonight. I feel like.
The content sometimes just falls into your lap.
Yes, and it definitely has tonight. And look, I told, like Bobby Lee and I were talking, and I said, this is one of our strengths, I feel like. And this is a good segue leading into our sponsor, but one of the things about, you see all these podcasts, and they've got huge sponsors, and as a podcast guy, you obviously it's like, man, be nice to have a crazy sponsor just throwing money at you. But one of the good things about having not one of the big, like, I hate to say Walmart brand, but like that's kind of, they're on that level as Walmart, like a Fortune 500, whatever you want to call it. One of these crazy big, huge worldwide companies is you got to play by their rules. And we don't.
Well, obviously you can't say anything bad about them, but then you even have to worry about, because that's one thing, Ag-Zaga that we'll talk about here in a minute. They've never said like, hey, you guys don't need to make fun of this or that, or like, no, they're like, yeah, here you go. We want to sponsor you. Give us an ad hit.
Yep. Yeah, they've been great. They've been great working with, and that's what we like. And that's what, because
I feel like, and money talks, but if a company ever came to us and said, hey, we're going to sponsor you, we're going to give you some astronomical figure, but we're going to need you to tone it down on certain things, man, I can't say what I would do. I want to say that I'd be like, no, y'all can go kick rocks, but I don't know. I mean,
it's easy to say. Talks. Yeah, it's easy if they're like, we'll give you $15,000 a month. Then it's like, well, but
we'll talk about whatever you want us to talk about.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, yeah. We hope we would hold strong.
Everybody has their price.
They do. But we say all that to say, and this is not bashing any of our. Because there's several guys in the podcast, the ag sector world that are really awesome. They got some great shows. I listen to quite a few of them myself. Bobby Lee listens to quite a few of them. There's a lot of them that are crushing it. But several of them are sponsored by John Deere, who we're going to be talking about again tonight. So this is where I feel kind of bad for those guys because they can't say anything about this.
Yeah, it's certainly on social media, within the ag social media realm, definitely the biggest story of the last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And they have to pretend like it's not even happening.
Yeah, that would be tough.
It's like the meme with the dog that's sitting there in the house and it's on fire. It's like, this is fine.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
This is fine. We're not going to... We'll talk about, the corn market, and prices or whatever else, but we're going to ignore the
elephant in the room.
Yep, exactly.
Well, that before we tell you what they've done now, because it was just not that long ago we were talking about John Deere, but it's gotten much, much worse. So before we do that, let's give a shout out to our awesome sponsor, Ag-Zaga, who lets us talk about whatever we want to talk about, and they sell great products.
Yeah.
So
awesome company. You need to check out the website. They just added some more stuff this week. I got the email that I don't even remember what it was, but they're adding new products all the time. The Bailnet wrap is always one of their big ones. And of course, the best news with all of it is everything's on sale, 10% off, as long as you use that discount code.
Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word.
Yep.
Use it.
Yep.
Use it.
And like I say, if you've already been shopping with them, be sure you check back occasionally because new stuff being added to the website all the time.
Yep. All right. Before we get into the topic, you were asking me off air. I was going to tell you a little bit about, tell you kind of what we got going on in the store. Well, first, I did buy.
About Project 2025.
Oh, running an ad here, are you?
Yeah, more ads.
I bought a lawnmower today for the farm store, which I was kind of looking. I don't know much about these bad boy mowers. Have you ever used one?
No, I'm familiar with them. Just the brand itself, but
They're cool looking. I know that they look cool.
got the bulldog on there.
Yeah, and the color. All right, Hey, well, I'll just save this. I'll save this. I'm gonna just hold up on that. In other news, at the farm store tomorrow night, Bobby Lee and I are actually recording a day before normal because tomorrow night we're gonna be making soap.
Soap.
Yep, out of beef tallow.
There you go. Where'd you source your beef fat?
This is just store-bought beef tallow for this first go-round.
Oh, that's a source.
Yep. But first, or eventually, the plan is to get linked up with a butcher, or maybe whenever you get some processed, get some beef tallow, because it's just fat. They just render the fat. Bobby Lee eats all the fat, so it's hard to get any of the fat from him.
So all you need as a raw ingredient is just fat.
Yep.
And you render it yourself.
You just cook it down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And we use beef tallow, a little coconut oil. We already got scents. We've been growing cucumbers.
No, you don't have any sense.
No, I don't have any sense. I'm all out of that. But we've grown cucumbers, and we're gonna make some cucumber.
Like some cucumber melon.
Yep, that's what my wife. She was like that because we had some cucumbers that got too ripe for pickles, and she was like, "Look at this wasted cucumbers." And I cut one open. I smelled it. I said, "Man, it still smells good." And so she was like, "Well, there's cucumber melon soap." And I said, "All right, so we're gonna try it." So we're experimenting tomorrow night.
There you go.
But Bobby Lee was asking me about. We make kraut. It is. I would say the kraut is our number one. That is like. I've told Marcy only halfway joking that maybe we should just go forget about all of the rest and just start making kraut.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah. Like it's been crazy how many people are wanting it. We've got probably 100 jars worth of kraut aging right now. I bet you the majority of it's already spoken for.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. We sold out in 3 days the first time, and it's going like crazy. So,
did you grow all the cabbage?
We grew the majority of the cabbage. The first go around, I grew all the cabbage. The second go around some of it is my dad's that he had left over, and then we actually went to the Agri Center and bought from just the farmers market there.
Okay.
Because we needed.
So it's all locally grown cabbage.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. That was one thing we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure it was. If we can't grow it, we want to support our other guys. So it's cabbage that's locally sourced, and we're making that. But people kind of, because I've had another guy that was like, "Man, what about the permits? What about the USDA inspections?"
You do that. I've got a permit.
Yeah, and I wrote on a piece of paper, "I can do what I want," or and handed it to him. But in Tennessee, actually, more love for Tennessee here. It has some of the looser laws around making food and selling it. It's called cottage law or cottage food law. And in the state of Tennessee, if the product does not have to be refrigerated, then you don't have to have a permit. Like sauerkraut, fermented stuff like that. It does not have to be jams, jellies. They don't have to be cookies.
I guess that's true because I've actually bought like jams and jellies at the farmer's market.
Yep.
And I haven't ever paid like close attention to the labeling, but yeah.
So the labeling is the only thing they say they want you to have. Instead of having to have an inspection, all that on the labeling, you're supposed to have what the product is, and like ours is the Little Blue Farm Store, Munford, Tennessee, have our information there, and then somewhere on there you're supposed to have a label that has what the ingredients are.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple.
Which is the way it should be, and it kind of, and we don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. We could do a whole episode, but like the whole raw milk thing. Like, I'm not, just because I know enough people that are in the dairy industry that are like, they're not crazy about the raw milk thing, but they'll pretty much all say, which is my opinion, I don't think the government should be telling you that you can't drink raw milk. You can't buy raw milk from your neighbor who has, a dairy of some size. That, if they're selling raw milk, they're not, mislabeling it or, misleading you in some way, and they're very upfront with what it is, and you want to buy it and you want to assume the risks that come with that and you want to consume it, then by golly, go for it.
And that's what I was going to say. You assume the risk. Like, why does the government have to? Again, we could make an episode out of it. When does the
government make anything better?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, so, that's good to hear. And of course, it goes back to, the Prime Act, which I don't know that they'll ever even bring it up for vote, which is where we could sell meat, or it would be back to a state's issue where within the state, you could sell meat direct to consumer without having to necessarily have USDA, stamp, inspected. If your state decided to allow it, but right now, federal law or whatever the USDA says, even if a state wanted to do that, federal law, whatever supersedes it. And that's been one thing that I've pushed, like our Tennessee Cattlemen's Association, like, hey, talk to our lawmakers, tell them we want this. And that's where one of the things Tennessee Cattlemen's Association pissed me off about, but it's all because they're too tied in with NCBA, who's too tied in with the big meat packers, who, of course, they clearly don't want it.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, not gonna get. We could do a whole podcast series on that.
Yeah. Hey, I met a dude this past weekend at the 4th of July thing with my wife that's buddies with Luke Bryan. I told him.
Oh, man. Did you tell him that me and his wife are buddies?
I did. I told him that you had pissed his wife off over his skinny jeans. He died laughing. But I asked him, I said, man, what is this? Because they got like hunting property that joins each other. And he's done some business with Luke. He's in the realty business, and he's done some business with Luke. And so I said, man, look, I got to ask. I said, I'm not a fan of the dude's music, but I said, how is he as a person? And he was like, dude, Luke is awesome. He was like, he's awesome.
I guarantee you, like, he could sit here and sip whiskey with us and have a pot. Like, again, we talked about that when it first happened, but, like, I was just making a joke about, like, if that dude doesn't have, I guarantee you his buddies, like, make fun of his skinny jeans. But it's part of his shtick.
It is. Well, I pulled it up, and I showed him. Like, I went to the Buck Commander page, and I was like, look, this is my cousin. And she said, oh, eat a fart. Go eat a fart to Bobby Lee. And he just died laughing. But yeah, he was like, man, Luke is great. He was like, he really is.
I guarantee you, like,
and he's as conservative as we are. So.
Oh yeah, and I would make fun of his skinny jeans.
Yes.
And he'd make fun of me being bald or something, and we'd laugh it off and pour another drink.
So that's where the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So like that's where I'm like, hey, the pathway, who knows, man? We might have old Luke on the show one day.
Hey, open invitation to Luke. He can wear his skinny jeans. He can wear.
He's got hunting property like an hour away.
I had heard that from maybe even some of the same people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, all right. I wanted to just let you guys know, like, even though we may not jam his music, he's an all right dude. Now,
and he's got some music that I don't hate. The modern
Bobby Lee's softening his stance.
The modern country in general, like just.
Yeah.
I hate Sunday mornings when it gets to 10 a.m. because we have a local station that from 8 to 10 does 90s country. And I've messaged them probably at least a half dozen times on Sundays. I'm like, why don't y'all just keep doing the 90s country?
All the time.
We got like 8 stations that play the pop country, the new country or whatever. Like, carve out your niche. Like, that's the only 2 hours all week that I listen to country radio is when they do 90s country.
All right, here we go. So, the big story here, and I got to throw an apology out.
Well, of course, John Deere's had, we've been rough on them. The whole CTO thing that the chief tractor officer that did not, went over like a turd in a punch bowl, at least with the people within ag that are active on social media. And then that was kind of in the midst of them shipping off a lot of jobs to Mexico.
And they've done laid off. They're constantly laying off actual workers.
And so I kind of thought of one of your favorite movies. It's like, just when we thought you couldn't be any dumber, you go out and totally... No, they didn't totally redeem themselves.
Man, they did not.
The first rule of when you're in a hole is to stop digging.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they've got that John Deere excavator blowing smoke out of both ends. They are digging as fast as they can. But they're just hoping they'll pop out somewhere on the other side, I guess.
And I don't know how this is going to pan out. I know before the real bombshell, I had found this article earlier, and it's a guy.
I guess we need to say what they've done.
Yeah, well, we're gonna ease into it. It's gonna be a slow burn here.
Okay, I gotta stick with us.
Yeah, I gotta give an apology to my man Philip that listens to us on here. He texted me the other day and was like, "Hey man, I need to call you. I want to talk to you about the John Deere thing." He's like, "I've got a theory on it," and I was supposed to call him back yesterday. And man, I've just been running around like crazy. I didn't call him back. And Philip is a super smart guy. He's involved actually in the ag law kind of stuff. So he has probably some pretty good ideas, but I have not gotten to talk. So Philip, don't be mad at me. Could have used your information tonight, but it's my fault for not calling you back. But I found this article here. Retired John Deere employee warns of significant impacts of mass layoffs as the company moves manufacturing to Mexico. Says the jobs won't be returning. So he's warning of that. And I had read an article also that it was really weird. It was actually talking about due to the decline in just agriculture business as a whole. And it's not just John Deere. I saw CNH, which is Case IH. They are cutting back a lot because of apparently declines in ag business. But crap, my brain's drawing a blank. John Deere, what was I going with that? They're moving more into their plan is to move, and I'm kind of interpreting this. It sounds like moving into the tech world and almost somewhat out of the agriculture world. They'll probably still obviously have a large footprint in ag, but the kind of thing I'm gathering is that they're moving into the tech side of things, and they're calling themselves like Deere Co. now. They're kind of getting away from the old John Deere name, and now it's just Deere. And and some of the research I was doing for this subject tonight, if you look up their brand on some of these websites, it's Deere and Co. I think is what it's called.
Well, I know they should. And I'm not smart enough to understand it, but how, the whole, information technology and just gathering information and data, that's where the money is for the future. And again, I can't even hardly wrap my mind around. I understand to an extent how you monetize that, but I don't, at the same time, what tangible do you get out of that?
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm going to read the list, but I'm going to leave out one of these in particular, because there's one that was a pretty big bombshell to me. That one right there, that one's pretty damning to me.
Well, yeah, and I'm not necessarily surprised by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and list what's been uncovered that they've done.
So all of y'all, we talked about our Tractor Supply episode and how they were exposed. Well, this same dude, Robbie Starbuck, give him a shout out. I was like, man, we need to just get him on the show. He has blown the lid off of this thing, and actually, I was looking to see, it's got 4 million views now, 4.2 million views. He says here, it's time to expose John Deere. This is on his Twitter. John Deere, he tagged him in it, one of the most beloved brands by conservative farmers. But recently on CEO John May's watch, they've gone woke. Here is some of what we found. I mean, this just blows my mind. Funding a pride event for kids as young as 3. The Genderbread Man. Now, the Genderbread.
No, not gingerbread, but Genderbread.
Yep, Genderbread Man training. Did you watch the video where he shows a lot of this stuff?
I didn't. I read, but didn't.
It's crazy. They ask him, like at the Funding a Pride event thing for kids, it literally says presented by John Deere and has the little logo.
Oh man.
So there ain't no denying this stuff. They ask employees to list their preferred pronouns on all communications. John Deere celebrated their accounting and finance team taking United Way's 21-day United for Equity program. And so he went through the program himself. And it promoted Ibram Kendi, the woke children's book Anti-Racist Baby. The other book, Awake to Woke to Work. Oh, that's a podcast on the concept of whiteness. And then woke activist Robin DiAngelo is bigotry against Christians who supposedly have Christian privilege and more. That's some of the stuff they were urged to listen to and to read and study. And then the woke policies have spread across the global John Deere brand, with many of their DEI, which is diversity, equality, and inclusion policies, also being forced on their Latin American and Indian branches. And I saw a video where it was like literally Indian dudes that are like, yes, we love the equality, like going into it. And it's like, what in the hell? Then it says LGBTQ and race-based identity groups at corporate, a total commitment to the DEI policies. And I looked this one up myself also, a 95 out of 100 score from the HRC. HRC is basically, I don't think it's Human Rights Coalition. I don't remember what it stands for, but it's basically like the LGBTQ police. Like, they rank businesses on how pro-LGBTQ plus whatever it is they are. John Deere almost has a 100 out of 100. They damn near have a perfect score. They had one thing that they didn't have, and it was like basically like a guide on how to, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some sort of guide they did not have, and that knocked them down 5 points. For reference, I searched CNH on the HRC website. They are nowhere to be found. I searched AGCO, and they're nowhere to be found. I searched Kenworth. I was like, let's just see what other companies are in here. Kenworth, not in there. There's quite a few that are not in there. Now, if they have some sort of different parent name, but they weren't listed on there. So, and
they've gone full woke.
Oh.
Like they are drinking the Kool-Aid, like, so far down the rabbit hole. I'm just doing this on the fly as we're sitting here. This is on Deere.com.
Yeah, I looked at that, yeah.
Pronouns. We encourage employees to use their personal pronouns, such as he, him, his, she, her, hers, or they, them, theirs, in internal and external communications, including email correspondence and email signatures. Not only is this a sign of mutual respect, it's practical for our global company. You need to call your salesman up there tomorrow, and before you talk to him, say, hey, I just got to know what's your pronouns.
What's your pronouns?
Just so I can, have that sign of mutual respect, and go ahead and tell him you're a they them.
Yeah.
And say, we ought to lean into this. Be like, from now on, I'm still gonna buy equipment from y'all, but you got to refer to me as a they them.
Yeah. Well, I did, because I was telling my wife about this, and I was like, now I've got an old IH hat. Now, that's an IH hat, International Harvester. And I was like, I thought about making a video today, and I was just going to put my IH hat on. But I said, the bad thing is all these companies are caving to this shit, but not to the degree John Deere is. Because I went to CNH's website, and they have an equality page, but it basically just says, we are proud to hire people of all ethnicities and backgrounds. And that's like kind of what it says.
Well, like, how about we just hire competent people?
That's what, how about we just...
And I don't care what they look like.
Let's just hire the best person for the job.
I don't care what they do in their bedroom with another consenting adult. Like, I just want them to be good at their job and help our company move forward and help our customers. But it continually is, these biggest brands. It's Bud Light. It's Tractor Supply. It's John Deere. It's Jack Daniels. It's these iconic brands, but it's like they get so big, and they've got, and I don't know who any of the the CEO and like the upper management, like in the headquarter office, are from John Deere. But you certainly get the impression that they didn't grow up in rural America. You know, they were hired because they were hot shots from the business
Qualified,
world.
yeah.
From been working on Wall Street or somewhere. Completely out of touch with not only their customer base but also their workforce. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, their workers.
definitely are. Like, I don't want to speak for them, but like, you walk in your local John Deere dealer, like, there ain't gonna be many Biden votes hiding in there.
No.
No. There weren't many Hillary votes either. Not just to pick on Biden or Obama or whoever. Like, those people, like, you could go in there and it's.
Oh, I could wear a "Make America Great Again" hat in there, and they'd be like, "I like that hat."
Which you could do that damn near anywhere around here. But yeah, I mean, especially somewhere like that. Like,
Well, that's
like it wouldn't even be noticed because it would be so.
Yeah.
Like, you're just preaching to the choir there.
that's what frustrates me, because there's people inevitably that'll see this because and to preface really quick, it can change. I mean, Tractor Supply is a humongous brand. Like, that's a huge brand, and they completely pulled out of everything.
Oh yeah, they did what they should do. Now again, I'm still kind of cynical. Like, yeah, they were just doing it to.
It's funny.
regain-
Did you see now the LGBT is attacking them for pulling out of everything? But it's like, I mean, honestly, Tractor Supply should be like, dude, y'all make up like 1% of our sales.
Yeah,
so,
y'all might have a few chickens out there somewhere, but we sell one less bag of chicken feed.
yeah.
But it's
But my thing is, because there will be some people that'll be like, well, you drive a GMC or you drive a Ford and they're all woke. And it's like, all right, but here's the difference. GMC, Ford, Ram, Toyota, whatever, they all cater to the pride crap and all that. But to me, the difference is everybody drives. Like, everybody drives a vehicle. So vehicles are just a broad thing. But when you get to like John Deere, tractors, less than 2% of the population in our country is farmers. Less than 2% of our population drives tractors. And of that, farmers, just for example, when Donald Trump ran for president, it was like he got like 90% of the farmers' votes. Like, it was a huge amount. So to me, it's like when you have a very specific niche of a brand that's in ag sector, know your base, know your customers. Don't cater. What are you catering to them for? And I'm not saying, look, I'm sure that there is some gay farmers, but
oh yeah, no, I know some.
Yeah.
Certainly through social media, but heck, as I sit here and think, I can think of some even in real life.
yeah. But like, still, I bet you they probably make up.
Well, and the ones that I know are gay and still very conservative. Like, like, they'll tell you, they're like, yeah, I'm a dude and I happen to like dudes. Like, I think all this pride bullshit is bullshit. That
Their identity's not wrapped up in their sexuality.
Yeah, but it's, man, I got to think about it. There's so many angles in this, but like, and I was trying to think, like, is there a more iconic brand in all of agriculture? And I think it's easily no.
I was going to say no.
Like, a brand that, I mean, and part of this may be why they're doing it, but it transcends agriculture. I mean, everybody knows who John Deere is. You don't have to be a farmer. But I think, we've hinted at another company, and we've never called them out by name because we know people that work for them. But another huge brand, not a household name necessarily, within ag, and knowing people on the inside there, it's all about all this ESG score and all this bullshit. Because I asked my buddy that works for the other company, I'm like, why does your company even care? Like, why are y'all catering to all this crap? Like, I know your headquarters are in a big metro area.
Yeah, very liberal area.
Yeah, but it's like, your products, like, nobody, like, why? Like, it makes no sense. And I've been told that, like, yeah, it just all comes back to that whole, or is it ESG or what? Yeah, the environmental, social, whatever score, because they feel like we're moving towards this this system eventually in the near future where we get this, social credit score where, basically how woke are you? And man, that's scary. Like I would rather see companies, push back against that. Be like, no, that's bullshit. Like we don't care about that. We just want.
Well, isn't there tax breaks or incentives for more diverse companies?
Man, I don't know if they could. I don't know.
I think there is some sort of advantage to being a more diverse company. I can't necessarily say what it is, but I mean, to me, there's got to be.
But like some of these companies, again, like again, the one that our buddy works for, and maybe one day when he's not working for him anymore, he'll come on here and tell all.
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
They raped him.
Yeah. But it's like, he's to the point where he's been told, he can't advance any further there. Not on the record, been told that, but like by his superiors that also are like-minded, like him, like, man, I don't know what to tell you, but you're not going to get any more promotions. You're a white dude.
Yep.
And he's had to work side by side with, specifically like minority women, because of course they love to hire, put a woman in there, but a minority woman is, oh man, you're checking multiple boxes.
Yep.
Just got our White House press secretary and how
all right,
great of a job she does. But it's like, and he's like, these people are so incompetent, but they're hired just based on their identity, like nothing else.
Well, here's why. So I used my AI chat friend.
Okay.
I said, is there tax breaks or financial advantages to being an LGBTQ diverse company? Yes, there are tax breaks and financial advantages. Many governments and organizations offer incentives to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, I can't read. DEI. In the workplace, some examples include tax credits for hiring diverse candidates, such as LGBTQ individuals or veterans. Tractor Supply doubled down on the veterans thing. They were like, all right, we'll nix the LGBTQ, go to the veterans. They also can get grants for implementing DEI, damn, I can't read, initiatives and training programs, lower tax rates or exemptions for companies with a strong DEI track records, access to government contracts and procurement opportunities, and on and on and on. There's several more. These incentives vary by country, state, province, researching local. There you go. So that is a problem. I knew it. I was going to say, because I remember when I was machining.
And I don't know how that, what do you call that?
That's Meta AI.
So it's like.
It's the chat bot. Like you can just ask it questions.
I mean, taking that
it's legit.
It's accurate. Yeah,
it is. It is accurate. Let's see. I'll ask it.
Yeah, we live in an upside down world. It's.
That encourages you not to hire the most qualified candidate, but to check the box of the necessary. Well, we got to have this.
Just hire somebody. Hey, we're going to pick Kamala as our vice president because she's. I mean, again, I don't know how you define black, but she's not a traditional. She's not an African American, but hey, she's darker skinned than the average American, and she's a woman. So yeah, we'll put her in there, and see how that worked out for you, and then. We're gonna check like 3 boxes and have a black, gay, female White House press secretary, which I don't know how anybody could do a decent job at that right now with all the questions they're getting about.
3.5% of farmers in the U.S. identify as LGBTQ plus.
So pretty similar to just the overall.
Yeah,
I think that's about.
So John Deere is
the few.
Catering
gay farmers that I know aren't in favor of
they're not going out
sponsoring a drag show that also is tailored for kids. Like no, they're like no. Like gay people for decades have fought the stigma of being pedophiles.
Yeah,
and we're finally getting beyond that. Now we got all these folks that really are gay pedophiles that are trying to make that the mainstream.
Here's what's weird. So have you ever heard of OpenSecrets.com?
No.
So it shows you who companies are donating money to. And so I put on my little investigative journalism hat earlier today and was like, I'll look up some of these things. On Open Secrets, I think it's OpenSecrets.com or OpenSecrets.org, I can't see all of it. Number 1 is Tyson Foods. Now, it shows you how much they donated to
Number
Republicans.
one, is this just within? Is this the country as a whole, or is this just within like ag and food?
This is just within ag and food.
Okay.
Yeah, this
So
is
like,
just
wow,
ag.
Tyson's number one.
Yeah, no, because I looked at some. There was one
It
ag.
doesn't surprise me at Tyson. I mean, they're one of the mega companies.
But it's interesting. So Tyson has donated $191,000 to Republicans, $125,000 to Democrats. To liberal groups, they've donated $1,250. To conservative groups, they've donated $350,000.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share this.
Well, a lot of these companies are donating to both sides just because they're trying to
play the fence a little bit.
Well, and they're just wanting to buy off all the legislators and that they can get they're greasing the wheels on both sides.
But here's where it's weird. All right, so John Deere has all this liberal stuff, and I wanted to throw this in the mix too because I'm like, well, I want to at least share this. Deere & Co. is John Deere's thing. They're at the bottom of the list here. They've donated $353,000 to Republicans. This is just in the year 2024. They've donated $353,000 to Republicans and $121,000 to Democrats. So significantly less to Democrats. Like, I hate that they've been donating.
Basically 3 to 1, yeah.
Yep. But it's like interesting to me because from a breakdown here, see, the darker red they are is the harder they lean to the Republican side.
Yeah.
Well, Deere & Co. is very red. So it's like really odd that they donate really heavily to the Republicans, but then they're also blowing all this. To me, it's like they're trying to be on the fence, and you can't do that. It doesn't work.
I mean, I just wish we could go back to, we're just going to be a company that makes really good equipment, hires the best people we can possibly find to build and sell and service and whatever that product, and we don't care what they look like, what they believe in, like none of that matters.
Why do they got to make a deal about it?
And like and some of this may go back to kind of our underlying theme always, and how we hate the government and the tax credits and all the other BS out there that's maybe even pushing companies in this direction. But it's just, I feel like you're going to continue to see it with these really, the bigger the company, the more apt they are to fall for this stuff, it seems like.
Well, they're not doing it because they truly care about this community.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that's true for all the bullshit you see during Pride Month. Like,
unless it's Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah,
Ben & Jerry's is the gayest
the
ice cream
company out there for anything. Not just talking about, LGBTQIA plus whatever.
Yeah.
But we were talking. When I would listen to the radio, and I would listen to one of our FM rock stations, and they're like an iHeartRadio. And it's like, iHeartRadio stands with Can't Stomp Out Pride. It would list all these brands, and I'm like Tide. I'm like, who cares? Like, they make good laundry detergent. Like, gay people, like why? What's the whole deal with we have, like, whatever. Just do your thing, do it well, treat people with kindness, no matter who they are. Like, why can't we just live by that mantra?
Yeah.
Instead, it has to be.
Let's just live by the golden rule.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to hire based on this or based on that. We'll hire you because you're the most qualified for the job. We think you'd be the best in the position. It's kind of like Rob Schneider had a great thing. Did I play the joke about the pilots on here? His joke about white pilots?
I don't think so.
Well, Rob Schneider, you're familiar with Rob.
Oh yeah.
He's gone very conservative now.
Comedian, plays a lot of roles. What's his most famous movie role?
Man,
for people out there that are
Deuce Bigelow is a good one.
Yeah, Deuce Bigelow.
The Hot Chick. He's been in like every Adam Sandler movie.
Well, I was about to say, what's the Adam Sandler? Where's the football player?
Waterboy.
Waterboy.
He's the one. Like, you can do it.
Cut his fucking head off. That's always the image I think of him.
Yes. Yeah, he's hilarious.
You're right. Him and Adam Sandler,
they're tight. They're bros.
Like he's the supporting actor, like all of it.
Every
Adam
one of them.
Sandler's like goofy comedies.
If you see Rob in a movie, it's almost always a Happy Madison Productions, and that's Adam's company.
He, this is going way back. We're going way down a rabbit hole here, but did you ever watch Necessary Roughness,
I did not.
the football movie?
I've
Oh
never-
my good Lord! I have seen a movie that Logan has not.
All of them. I feel like every movie that you've seen that I haven't seen is like a deeply sports movie.
It's not. I mean, it's definitely centered around sports. Kathy Ireland's in it.
Is Rob Schneider in it?
Rob Schneider is in it. He plays like a. Definitely, it's more like it. This would have been like an early '90s movie, probably. The movie's as old as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kathy Ireland's in it. I'm pretty sure I'm trying to think who all.
I've heard of it now that you say it.
You watched it. Sinbad's in it.
Yeah.
It's I'll look it up as far as when it came out. But yeah, that's one of the first movies I remember seeing him in.
Well, he's doing comedy stand-up and stuff now, and he did one because he's, like I said, he's come out. He's very conservative now, and he was talking about. He was like, what is it with airports or not airports, but all these airplane companies that are like, we really need to hire more diverse pilots. We need pilots. We need these women. We need gay pilots. We need black pilots. We need all this. He said, I guess, are they sitting back and they're like, you know what? We're tired of these good, safe flights. We no longer want to hire the most qualified individuals. Now we're just going to hire you based on this chart of things you meet here. Like, we don't care that you have 20 years of flying experience and you are so qualified for the position, because there just so happens to be a trans woman here that is newly got her license, but she fits our DEI criteria.
Yep.
And he kind of went on a kick like that, and it's like, it is so freaking true. I can remember, this has been over 10 years ago. I was still machining, and I went and I tried out for Shelby County Fire Department, and it was like 1,500 people that applied for 10 positions, and I didn't get it, and I was glad, because I had to lie about where I lived, because I didn't live in Shelby County. And so I was like, I was very uncomfortable. I was actually like hoping, like, I prayed, like, please don't let me get this. But say all that to say, I was talking to a guy who was a Memphis firefighter, and we were talking about it because he was trying out for Shelby County, and he actually told me he was wanting to leave Memphis because he was passed over on a promotion that he was like extremely qualified for, and they put somebody that was of a minority over the position that was not qualified like he was, but they just had to they had to check off the box. And he was just telling me, like, man, and that's been over 10 years ago. So, I mean, it's been happening. It's just really now we can actually see it, and it can be exposed. And to me, Tractor Supply shows me that, like, if you have the pushback, at the end of the day, these companies, they can say that they're about this or about that. They're about the money. They're about the profit. So if they take a super hard hit, like Tractor Supply, their stocks plummeted like massively. All this stuff was like, they were seeing that they were about to get the Bud Light treatment. Man, if these companies are really concerned about their profit, I mean, I don't think that it's a far cry to say that we could not actually shift the motion of some of these companies.
Well, and I kind of thought about it. The Tractor Supply one was like, you saw their stock prices plummet, which I guess that could obviously happen to Deere too.
I wonder if Deere's has.
It'd be interesting because it's still fairly new, which we're recording here on Wednesday night. You never know by the time, another 36 hours before this comes out.
Yeah.
But I kind of got to thinking about this. The folks that are buying John Deere equipment, like, if they're really on the fence, man, they're looking at, I need to upgrade combines, but a lot of the guys that are buying, especially new John Deere equipment, like, if they're already buying and running a lot of Deere equipment, they're going to keep buying Deere equipment. I feel like, it's, I mean, obviously you run Deere too, and we made our opinion on, but like, our dads, do you think that this will, when they're ready to trade combines, that this will affect them?
No, because I said something to Dad about it. I was like, man, freaking John Deere. And I was telling him about it. And I said, I might just consider going red. And he said, will you be making a mistake? Like, I mean, so no, I mean,
Yeah, and so I'm like, well, Deere, I feel like maybe a little more insulated from it than Tractor Supply, because Tractor Supply, is dependent on people popping in there and spending,
yeah.
25 to $250,
Yeah.
once a week, buying just a few odds and ends, some animal feed and whatnot. Whereas Deere, there just aren't as many competitors. It's just sounds like
it is. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I mean, as annoyed as I am, it still harkens back to what we talked about the last time. And at the end of the day, my dealership is much better than the alternatives.
Yeah. Well, and your dealership is not full of DEI bullshit.
No.
Our local store, yeah, I mean, I don't want to paint them as
racist homophobes.
Well, homophobes, I guess, because they're definitely not racist. But I feel like if you went in there wearing a pride shirt, they wouldn't kick you out or anything, but they'd be looking at you all side-eyed.
Yeah.
If they didn't know you, just some random,
Yeah.
If you were a flaming pride gay dude, they'd be like,
What is this guy doing coming in
yeah,
here?
they wouldn't be overly eager to earn your again, I don't want to. I may be completely wrong on that because I'm not a Deere guy. I got a Deere combine, or not Deere combine.
You got a Deere combine.
I have a Deere hay baler. It's a hay combine, maybe. I don't know.
I see people call them that. It always kind of tickles me.
What?
Like a hay combine.
Well,
A hay bind. Hay binder.
Well, there are hay binds.
Yeah.
So, but that is an actual thing.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
the self-propelled mowers, which is pretty awesome. You don't see many around here.
I'm gonna call my dealer tomorrow, and I'm just gonna be like, "What in the hell?" And I know
You just
he'll be.
need to lean into it. You'd be like, "Man, I'm so glad to see y'all are embracing all this. And it's time that I open up with you."
They them.
And I want you to recognize me as a they them, but because y'all are all about that. Now, I should go ahead and preface this by saying, what are your preferred pronouns?
Yeah, I need to open it by man, I've been, or actually, I can't say man. I'm already messing up.
I've been so insensitive to your, desires, and I need to ask, what are your preferred pronouns?
Yep. Well, I'm gonna call him.
And y'all have a good laugh about it because of how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, I guarantee you, he is probably as mad, if not madder, than me, because he works for the company he works for Tennessee Tractor. He doesn't work for John Deere. He works for Tennessee Tractor. They're a dealer of John Deere's. But I told Marcy, I said, I'm going to take my Deere license plate off because I got a camouflage John Deere license plate on the front of my pickup. I told her, I was like, I'm taking it off. I ain't going to just proudly rep it.
Well, and it, again, wasn't about to walk in there and buy a new tractor or nothing, but I'm always playing around online. And I've talked about how I'm probably going to stick with Kubota for anything in the future unless I just got a screaming deal on something else because I have a great relationship with my local dealership, local salesman for Kubota. But, it's John Deere, man. I'd be lying if I said, it would be cool to especially the old 7210 out here. Man, I got a lot of nostalgia with that tractor. First cab tractor I ever really drove. Every now and then I'll play around online and be like, if I could find a good 7210, man, that tractor. Because that tractor's 25, 30 years old now.
Yeah, it's a great tractor.
I'm like, man, I would love to have one of those as just a perfect hayfield tractor.
Yep.
But now I'm like, I'll just stick with Kubota. I'm it legitimately is. And again, will it ever truly change a purchasing decision for me? I don't know. But
it has made me really, this on top of their moving production to Mexico, laying off all these workers, giving their CEOs giant bonuses while they're laying off all these people. And all this where it just continues to seem like they're so out of touch. The more and more I see that, I'm like, maybe it's time for me to consider a different brand. I honestly, my loyalty of brand is not to John Deere as much as it is to my dealer.
Oh yeah.
Like because when
I'm the same way. Yeah, Kubota. Yeah, it's more. I have a local dealership that I really, really love.
yeah, like, and I like the dudes up at Tennessee Tractor. I got their
How
cell
much
phone.
do you like them?
I don't know. We're very inclusive, very DEI there.
Yeah,
We like them dudes up there. But I can like call. I have the phone number. Like, I can call one of their mechanics and he can guide me. If he can't come out and look at something that's going on the tractor, he can usually guide me how to like try to fix it. And there's a guy at H&R that's like their guru, but he won't give you his phone number.
That's our case dealer. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And he will not give you his phone number. And he's called me, like, he's had to help me before. And when he calls you, it's a restricted number. Like, he hides his number. And it's like,
I'll be honest, I don't give my phone number out just to all my clients.
well, and that's what I was going to say. I get it because, man, your phone's ringing all the time. Like, all the time. And on farming, we're working crazy hours. So, I mean, hell, there's guys, I guarantee you, they have something tear up at 9:30 at night and they call him.
Or we call him on Sunday morning. He's trying to get out the door to church with the family. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yep. But I have been seriously considering, like, maybe it's time for me to break away, because to me it's kind of like, do I think that in the end, the grand scheme, do I believe Deere tractors are a little better? I do. I've always kind of believed that. But do I think the playing field is getting pretty close? I also believe that as well. It's kind of like with truck brands. I'm a GM guy, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're all pretty much the same. They all can have issues. You can get a lemon, yada, yada, yada. It's the same way with tractors, same way with combines. There's not one that just stands head and shoulders above the other. If I had just limitless funds, honestly, I'd probably buy a Fendt. I'd probably get a new Fendt, because those are bad to the bone.
You get a Fendt and Gleaner or Massey combine? Because they're all AGCO, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yes. I know the Fendt's AGCO. Is Gleaner AGCO?
Yeah, Gleaner and Massey, I'm pretty sure all under that.
Yeah, and AGCO.
It's kind of like Case and New Holland. They're the same thing. It's just different colors.
See, and I've considered trying out a New Holland tractor. I know some people that like the New Holland tractors.
I'm pretty certain, it's just a blue Case.
Yeah. Yeah, because our H&R dealer.
Yes, Case New Holland, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say our H&R dealer, they carry some New Hollands, but you still don't see them a lot. And they're also a Kinsey dealer, which I don't run a Deere planter, but I don't know, man. It has really put a bad taste in my mouth about John Deere.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do over these next few days. Again, by the time this episode drops here in 36 hours, they may have already made a major shift. But yeah,
I'll be honestly surprised if they turned and shifted like Tractor Supply. I would be pleasantly surprised, but I would be very surprised.
As big of a brand as Tractor Supply is, they're not as big of a brand as John Deere. Not even close. And so
this would be like Harley Davidson making a drastic shift.
I feel like Deere's almost so big that they have to kind of weigh the implications of, all right, well, if they change everything, then they're admitting they're made a mistake. And then, I'm sure, and they're having these meetings right now. They've got PR firms working on everything else where, they're trying to think, all right, how can we just batten down the hatches and just weather the storm for another, few days, and the news cycle will shift. Biden will trip and fall at a speech and read the teleprompter wrong, and everybody's attention will be on that, and we'll forget all about, this. Or, does the pressure become insurmountable and they have to kind of come out? And, I feel like if they do anything, it'll be they'll kind of try to walk the middle line. But well, we also,
they'll say we've donated to Republicans 300.
Or we also support, some Christian charity groups,
Yeah.
or whatever, something on the other side of the aisle. Like, yeah, we're, to kind of counterbalance everything. But
Yeah, I could definitely see them doing that. That's kind of what I feel like, because Deere is a gigantic brand. I mean, it'd be almost on the same. To me, really, it's about the same as if you tried to make GM or Ford reverse all of their stuff.
yeah, but you made a good point there, where they're appealing to the masses, where Deere is not.
Yeah, they're a very niche group.
I don't know how much money Deere makes selling T-shirts and hats and license plates. I wouldn't imagine it could be. I mean, obviously sell a hell of a lot more shirts than I do tractors, but
Yeah.
of course, obviously, not making very much. But that would be interesting to know, like, what do they make selling like lawnmowers and apparel and all that? Because obviously that is going to, be appeal to the other 98% besides just the farmers, where you get into, people that maybe at least some of that audience may lean a lot more left because, I don't know. It's the whole apparel thing. I don't know if it's still as big as it once was. Man, like people that had never even sat on a tractor wore like John Deere shirts and stuff and whatnot.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
It was just an iconic
License
brand.
plates.
Yeah.
And, well, that's what I again, consorted with my chat. And I said, where does John Deere make most of its revenue? And it broke it down. So agriculture and turf, 64% of their income is farm equipment, precision agriculture, and turf care. Then 24% is their construction equipment, forestry equipment, and attachments.
But see, that's all the same. I mean,
Yeah.
those folks fall in the same
They-
category as
Exactly.
big ag. Yeah.
Yeah. And then 12% is their financing, leasing, and insurance services. So, I mean,
Well, but
like,
still, that all still comes back to that's.
the same.
So they don't even have a category for just like
Just shirts or apparel.
branded apparel, like yeah.
So that's where it's that.
I'm sure it's not even a drop in the bucket. Yeah.
If you could get farmers to actually be like, I'm not buying any more of this woke shit, then it would change, because that would hit their bottom dollar. And I mean, the guy, Robbie Starbuck, I think he did attach an email that you could like email the people there. This was a great thing to put out to our listeners here. If you have a damn John Deere, hell, if you got a John Deere shirt, or you got a lawnmower, or you have 5 X9 combines, then send them an email and just tell them that you have a problem with this, that doesn't represent your values and all this. You're one of their customers. Hell, I'm going to do it. I'm going to send them an email, and I'm going to tell them, hey, you ought to be like, look, man, I grew up driving John Deeres, and this
Hell,
is...
I got that baler.
Yeah, there you go. Be like, I got a baler. Be like, I'm going to set it on fire. I'm going to make a video.
Baler and I think 2 shirts.
You need to do a Kid Rock.
Don't forget the 2 shirts.
Yeah, you need to do a Kid Rock video. You need to put up your baler
just burn my
and
hay baler.
shoot it. I'll bring some guns. You got some guns. We'll just shoot it.
Shoot my baler to pieces.
Yes. We'll be like, here you go for you woke idiots, and shoot it.
If I could somehow figure out how to monetize that video
It would do well.
to bring about $25,000, me enough for me to replace the baler.
We'll get Luke Bryan to come and join us, and we'll shoot your baler.
Hey, Luke is always welcome.
But that would, if enough people read, everybody likes to think that they can never make anything change. Like, there's always those people. I've talked about it before. We're proud of our Made in America stuff. When I quit wearing Levi's jeans, I remember people were like, "Oh, what difference does it make?" And I'm like, well, with that kind of attitude, it ain't. But if enough people would actually stop buying the shit and start buying others, it would make a difference.
Yeah.
So you can make a damn difference if you just don't be a pussy and will actually stand up for what you believe in. I mean, hell, like I said, man, I'm seriously considering, like, right now I'm so damn financially strapped I can't do anything. But when the time comes where I can make some changes, I'm gonna look at other options.
Well, it's just one of those things. It's a little chink in the Deere armor.
Yep.
Because again, the quality of the equipment is one thing, but I'm running Kubota tractors. Still, man, there's like something down inside of me. It's like, man, as much as I love that orange, sure be cool to drive a Deere.
It's the Harley Davidson of tractors.
I mean, Joe Diffie didn't write a song about Kubota Orange, or
John Deere Green.
Man, I mean, yeah, but like, and that little urge deep down inside me, where one day I could see myself maybe running all green equipment. Now it's like, that took a little hit. Now it's like, I don't have that dream or fantasy anymore. And like, Deere's got to understand that, like, this isn't gonna jerk the rug completely out from under them, and everybody's gonna never buy a John Deere tractor again, starting tomorrow. But it's just like one little thing. It's like, and then a few years from now, that might be all right. Now the quality seems to be dropping, and then before you know it, we may fast forward 25 years, and they're no longer the iconic. I mean, it's hard to imagine, but it may be a world in which, the Case or the Fendt or the Kubota or whatever is all of a sudden the it brand.
Well,
in ag.
Isn't that what happened with Bud Light? I mean, wouldn't you have really said, because Budweiser, Bud Light was the king of beers.
Man, and that would happen so fast. And it was, and I don't know that they've completely, but that one was easier because it was like immediately people quit buying. I don't know, like,
it's just easier because one, it's
tractors
beer.
aren't something that you're going out and buying,
but
every so often.
It is I feel like there could be a ripple effect.
Right. It would take. I feel like it'll take a while for something like that, but if they keep having missteps like this, I can see a scenario where we fast forward 25 years, and it's a situation where it's like you may look back and be like, that was the beginning of the end for them. They had a series of blunders over several years, and before you knew it, they were no longer, we'll be telling our grandkids, back in my day, everybody was proud to drive a John Deere, and a John Deere will be looked at like a Mahindra is or something today. Like, look at that cheap Mexican made shit.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants that bullshit.
Man, that's crazy to think about.
They'll go digging through the old barn or whatever and find, like, why do you have a John Deere license plate over here? Well, back in my day, it used to be cool to have a John Deere.
Yeah, it was different back in. Yeah.
They weren't gay back in the 90s. Back when I was a kid.
That's crazy to really think about. Like that it could actually change.
Of other like kind of iconic brands. Well, I mean, like Blockbuster's one people point out, which obviously that industry just completely changed. BlackBerry phones. Like, and that was not that long. I remember my wife, before she was my wife, she had a BlackBerry, and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Like, that is awesome. This would have been like, I don't know, like 06, 07, 08.
Yeah,
somewhere
had the little keyboard on it.
Yeah, and it's like, because I just had a flip phone. Like, I don't even know if an iPhone was a thing yet. And like, damn, whoever owned that company, like, just totally shit the bed. I mean, couldn't build on whatever initial success they had. Yes, and obviously Deere's had a lot more staying power than the BlackBerry ever did, but it's like, could there be a world in which, decades down the road where they're, an afterthought in the tractor industry, big ag, big construction, whatever, but who knows?
I guess we'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Well, cue him up. I guess we got video up there.
After we totally screwed up last week.
I know. I see something flashing on our camera there, so hopefully we got a YouTube video. If not, you'll just have to tune in.
Hey, and I want to say something too, and something we don't really hammer folks on. We ask you to subscribe, obviously, on YouTube, and hit the like button. Certainly subscribe on your podcast platform. Leave a rating and a review.
Yep.
Because you need to enter the giveaway too. But
you got another week.
Word of mouth. Share it with somebody. A coworker, a family member. Share it on social media. That word of mouth, I feel like, is still king when it comes to, growing the brand, referring people.
I agree.
It's awesome whenever, I got a random email or message this week from somebody. I'll bump into people, which that's still a little weird when it's like people I know in real life, or it may not even be somebody I know, but they recognize me and they're like, hey, we watch y'all on YouTube, or we listen to podcasts. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Hope we didn't say anything too offensive. And if we did, I don't apologize.
Yeah, just find if you don't like it, find another show.
Oh, somebody got mad at me on one of my latest YouTube videos that I was working on Sunday. I was like, but that was my exact kind of thought. I was like, buddy, I have livestock. And I'm not trying to like fall on my sword here or anything, but like it's every day.
Yeah.
Like, and when I'm out of town, I'm paying somebody else to take care of them. Like it's every day. There
Yep.
are no days off. Now, granted, we were baling hay that day, and I was like, I guess technically, like, especially if I didn't have a primary job, I was like, come on, man, don't lecture me on. I understand that, like, yeah, in the most literal sense, it's a sin. But I made the comment. I was like, of all the sins I committed on Sunday, the fact that I was working was probably way down the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, our man.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
All right.
One of the more coherent sentences he said lately.
It is.
Which that's pretty old now, but
It is. Dude, I think we have run out of memory. I tell you what I didn't do. I did not format that card.
Okay.
So our YouTube people, you're probably going to get about, I don't know how long of this you'll get, and then it's going to quit. But hey, we're towards the end.
It's just 2 dudes sitting behind a desk here. So
Yep, there it goes. Yeah, it's out of memory.
you still got our audio. So
Yeah.
and I guess they had video then up till just the last little bit.
Yeah, it's plenty. So
We're not going to get naked or anything here at the end.
now,
I mean, even though we have been talking a lot of gay stuff.
that's right. That's right. I'm feeling very John Deere tonight. So Bad Boy Mowers, they're going to be our Made in USA company because I was looking.
They're made in USA.
They're made in Batesville, Arkansas. That's
oh yeah,
pretty dang close too.
hell yeah.
They got a heck of a facility. It says Bad Boy Mowers are manufactured in Batesville, Arkansas, in a facility that covers more than 1 million square feet. That's a big freaking company.
Yeah, how many acres would that be?
You want me to ask my chat friend?
So there's 43,000 square feet in an acre, roughly. What did it say? More than 1 million.
1 million. Yeah, just say 1 million square feet.
Be over 20 acres, like 23 acres.
That's a huge building. Golly, that's a huge building. Yeah, it says the company's engineers, fabricators, finishers, and assemblers work in these facilities where the mowers are also stored. It says then it uses a fleet of tractor trailers to deliver them directly to dealers across the country. And I bought it from a local dealer just 10 minutes down the road here. And it's a bad boy. It's a bad boy mower.
Well,
I was cutting stuff that I've been bush hogging, and I was loading her wagon, which she got a 60-inch deck. It'll hammer down. So yeah, on their website it says proudly manufactured in the heart of the USA, located in the north central Ozark Mountain area of Arkansas. That's pretty awesome. So they are made in USA.
that's a good one. We'll add them to the list.
I will also say they have basically all price range of mowers. I kind of got the middle of the pack. I got the Elite ZT or something. Elite. It's the Elite version. They've got the Maverick, which the name made me want the Maverick. But it's also got a really bad to the bone seat.
Makes me think of Mel Gibson.
See, I'm thinking of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
But I could see kind of the Mel Gibson thing to it.
yeah, playing a Riverboat Gambler.
Yep. But they got the Rebel, the Rogue. They have just awesome names.
Yeah.
The Rebel X is pretty bad because it has the never flat tires. It's got the kind, they're open tires, and it's got like the rubber line. You know what I'm talking about?
The Twheels.
Yes.
I have thought about putting those even like on my side by side.
It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, they call them Twheels.
Wheels. Put them on your Jeep.
Because it's a tire and a wheel all in one.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, it's totally non-pneumatic. Yeah, you don't ever have to worry about a flat.
Yeah, they look pretty pimp
I've been
on
airing
there.
up a flat on my side by side every day, and finally today, as I was airing it up, I saw a little leak, and so I plugged it. But then tonight, I was looking at it, I was like, I think it's already going down again. So it's probably either
Another. You got a thorn in
that
it.
plug wasn't worth a damn, or there's more than one hole.
Yeah. Well, this one, it looks pretty pimp, but it was significantly higher. and I don't need just a. I think the one I got might be in their commercial grade, but it's like towards the low end, which we got it for the store. So I mean, it gets some pretty heavy usage, but man, it was an awesome mower. I ran the living crap out of it today. So Bad Boy Mowers, check them out. Made in USA, made in Arkansas. So just right near our neck of the woods. And yeah, hey, and I hope everybody enjoyed the intro. Did you listen to our intro last week?
I did, yeah.
Man, I was feeling like
I'm an avid listener of the podcast.
Well, I listened to the intro a few times after I threw that like Jimi Hendrix inspired Star Spangled Banner in there.
But yeah, we do apologize. Like I realized, I texted Logan, I was like, we did not do a Made in USA company.
And I'm like, for our 4th of July episode, we didn't do a Made in USA company. It's bad.
Yeah.
Well, guys, go check out agzaga.com. Get all your gear, get all your needs. They are not John Deere dealers, proudly. And use the code TALKDIRT, all one word, all caps.
They do sell some implements that are like quick hitches and whatnot that are compatible with your John Deere.
But they're not a Deere brand.
Right.
So you're not gay if you buy them. Comment to us on YouTube. We ask for these every episode, and we haven't gotten a good YouTube comment in several videos. I'm a little bummed. I feel like this episode should warrant some YouTube videos. Maybe just let us know you're mad that I didn't format the card so the video died.
Yeah.
Or, tell us you love John Deere because they're woke, or you hate them. Just comment to us. And you guys have until it's the 17th of this month, I think, that the giveaway ends.
So they're going to have a little less than a week by the time this episode comes out. So.
Yep. So don't douche around. Get on there and join. You go on our talkdirtpodcast.com. It's on the homepage right there. Just kind of scroll down a little bit and you'll see the entry form. Enter. There's a bunch of ways you can gain extra entries. A lot of people have been doing it. So, dude, I was about to forget. Spotify. I think our Spotify listeners, I got to look.
Have officially overtaken Apple Podcast.
They are now, they are 1 rating behind Apple Podcasts now.
Wow.
Spotify, folks, y'all are, if y'all can get 2 more ratings right soon, you will overtake Apple, unless our Apple people suddenly man up and start rating more.
And if you're an Apple person, go over and rate us on Spotify too.
That's right. Give us a rating on both.
You can double dip.
You can. All right, guys. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. We'll be right here next week. See, hell, I don't know. It seems like lately we just talk about woke companies and how they don't belong in ag. But
yeah.
We'll talk about something. Might even have a guest episode.
We're due one. We're due. I just ain't took the time to find one, and you've probably been the same. So, all right, guys. We'll catch you next week.